Hey everybody, it's Tiffany. So today I just wanted to make a video and kind of tell you a little bit about myself. Just kind of get used to the camera and talking to my computer and that kind of stuff. It's a little awkward to start because I'm a really shy person. I don't really like talking to people, let alone, many people that could be watching this. So I'm just going to pretend that I'm talking to my best friend or something. This is Winnie. You might see her in some of my videos. Come here. Come here. Oh! This is my dog, Winnie. She is a pill. Yesterday, she decided, I don't know how she did this because somehow I looked away, but she slipped out of her harness, which her harness is pretty tight. Like, it goes around the front, and then it goes kind of underneath her legs and across her chest. And all of a sudden, the leash went slack, and I looked over, and she was just gone. And this isn't the first time she's run away. Like, she's run away, I think, 5 or 6 times, and we've only had her a couple of months, not even a couple of months. I mean, the first time was the first day that we got her, and I didn't realize that she was the kind of dog that was just going to, like, take off and not come back. So I had to chase her probably half a mile, and she finally stopped to, like, sniff something or whatever, and I was able to catch her. But that's the only way I've ever been able to catch her is if she stops, like, to poop or to smell something that she's really interested in. Otherwise, like, the faster you run after her, the faster she runs away. And she's really, really agile, and she just, like, slips. You go to grab her, and she'll just duck out of the way, so. So that happened yesterday, which gave me a mini panic attack, because I had taken off her collar that I have her name and her phone number on, because it was kind of rubbing her neck a little bit raw, because her neck is so thick, but then it gets skinnier, and her head is so small that it just, like, slips off really easily, and so I have to make it really, really tight so that it won't, I mean, not super tight, but, like, tight enough to where it wouldn't, be super uncomfortable. And so I had taken it off yesterday because it was red, and I put her harness on, not having any idea that it would have any chance of sliding off of her, because it's pretty tight and it's positioned in a way that you wouldn't think that it would be able to come off. So, anyway, I'm rambling on about the dog, but it was kind of a traumatic experience because I'd realized she didn't have the collar on and she was just running loose. I was able to catch her because she stopped to poop, but I thought she was gone and I was never going to see her again, and I was very sad. I love her so much. She's like my new little best friend. Because right now I'm unemployed and I don't leave the house all that often because I have kind of an anxiety thing that kind of builds up if I'm not forced to go out and go to work or go, run errands or whatever. Most of the time I will choose to stay home just because I get anxiety, and it sort of gets worse over time because I haven't been in practice of going out and talking to people and stuff. So, I guess I could tell you a little bit more about myself. I'm 27, which is really scary. Like, I don't feel that old. I feel, 20 or 22 or whatever, but I guess I'm kind of getting up there. But, I started watching YouTube videos when I was, I think, a junior in college, so it's been probably 5 or 6 or 7 years. Oh, somebody wants to come sit with us. She loves to sit on my lap. She's such a lap dog. Oh, she sees the birds outside, though. I moved around a couple of times when I was younger. I grew up in Southwest Washington, in a town called, the area that I grew up in is called Menlo, but it's not really a town. It's just sort of like a rural area. Most people recognize the town of Raymond. So that's where I grew up until I was about 16, and then I moved with my mom. My mom and dad split up when I was 9 or 10. And I have 2 siblings, but they chose to stay with my dad, and I moved, my mom and my stepdad moved to Eastern Oregon. Oh my gosh, I wish you could see her right now. She likes to sit like this. She does this probably 50 times a day. She does it when she's begging. She does it when she's trying to see out the window. I have a little perch here set up for her so she can look out the window, but she's still doing it. You're so pretty. We call it sitting pretty. But anyway, so I moved to Eastern Oregon when I was 16. So I finished my junior and senior year of high school in Eastern Oregon. And then I got a full scholarship to Eastern Oregon University in LeGrand, Oregon. And I got a degree there, my bachelor's degree in art. I did video and photography, which was really, at the time it was really fun, but I wasn't really thinking about like what kind of career I could make out of that, which was a big mistake. Nobody really talked to me about that. It was all about grad school, and I didn't put the idea together that I didn't want to go to grad school, and that was pretty much where the path was leading me, but I don't know, I guess I was just sort of biding my time, because I've always been sort of like an unsure and what's the word? I don't really care. I sort of just go with the flow. Indecisive, I guess, is the word I was looking for. But anyway, I graduated and I decided to stick around and sort of they have like this follow-up program for graduates to sort of stick around and work on their portfolio. And at that time I met, my now husband, but at the time he wasn't really ready for a relationship, and I sort of fell in love immediately, and he wasn't on the same page. So I had my heart really broken, and I was also going through some medical stuff that at the time I couldn't quite figure out what was wrong, but I was really like lacking energy and motivation, and I just could not get my shit together. Like I had to work on my portfolio because I had this final show at the end of the year to show my work, and I just I couldn't figure it out. And so I dropped out of that program, and I just said, look, I'm really sorry. I'm going through some personal stuff and some medical stuff that something's not quite right. So anyway, he and I kind of continued to date on and off, and I kept my job. I worked with people with disabilities, which is a really rewarding job. It doesn't pay very well. I mean, I would probably still be doing that now if it paid what it should, but it just doesn't. So anyway, one day I woke up and I had this huge lump on my neck, and I was like, what is that? Like, it felt kind of hard, but it wasn't, I don't know, I couldn't quite figure it out, and I ended up going to the hospital, and it turns out that I had a blood clot in my jugular that was caused by a tumor. And it turns out that I had this massive tumor. They told me it was probably about this big, like the size of a small grapefruit. And it was pushing up against my jugular and causing that blood clot. I guess it was on this side. I think it was on this side. So, I had a biopsy. I was in the hospital for probably a week. People didn't know if I had, this or that, or if I had cancer, or if it was malignant or not malignant, or if I had some sort of, gland system tumor. Nobody could figure it out. And so waiting for a whole week after a biopsy to find out if you're going to die or not is like the scariest thing that I've ever been through. But it turned out to be okay. I had something called a schwannoma, which is basically when the cells in the outer encasing of a nerve sort of go crazy, and they just multiply into this weird tumor, and it just attaches itself to the nerve. And basically the only way to catch it is just when you start noticing things like I did. Or nerve problems. I never really had any nerve problems. I mean, I do now because of the surgery. The whole right side, like my breast and my armpit and around to my back, I can't really feel. I mean, it's pretty numb. It's gotten a lot better, and that wasn't necessarily from the tumor. That was from the surgery, because they had to break a couple of ribs to go in there and take it out. But I have a big scar. I mean, it's probably like this long, but it's faded pretty well. So anyway, once that was done, it took about 6 months to recover from that, and then I went back to work. And I don't know if you can see. She likes to sit like this on me. She doesn't quite fit, but she wants to fit, and she's my sweetheart. So I kept working, and at that time, my husband and I started to get more serious, and we moved in together. So we both work for the same company in La Grande, and we lived together. And then, I mean, we had always kind of had this plan that we didn't want to live in La Grande forever. Like, it's kind of a dead end type of place. I mean, there's a college there, and it's a decent sized town, but it's pretty isolated, and jobs are just super hard to come by, especially good jobs. So we ended up moving to Longview, Washington, which is sort of over where I kind of grew up, a couple hours from where I grew up in Southwest Washington. And we continued to do the same kind of work, but we always knew that, that's not something that we wanted to do forever. It's kind of a dead-end job. There's a lot of younger people that do it because there's so much movement and staff because people just don't stick around, and so it's hard to get a good group of people together. I mean, I really liked the job and I was really good at it, but it just, $9.50 an hour for the kind of work we were doing is just ridiculous. So my husband ended up getting a job in Albany, Oregon, which is more south. It's along the coast. You can get to the coast in about an hour. It's right near Corvallis, which is where OSU is. And so we just moved here last summer in July after we got married. And so he works for a place called Selmet, which is a company that manufactures titanium castings for airplanes. So he has a pretty good job. I mean, he doesn't get paid a whole lot yet, but he's only been there, not even a year, and he's already moved up in pay $3 or $4 an hour. And it just continues to grow after that. So he's got a really good job, and I got a job last October with the Postal Service. I was a carrier for, only 3.5 months. I ended up getting fired, and I'm still fighting it because there was no real reason given. I mean, I showed up to work every day. I did a pretty good job, and all of a sudden I walk in one day and they're like, peace out pretty much. And so I'm in the middle of fighting that. I have an appointment in a couple weeks with my rep and the post office to sort of see if I can get my job back, which I really hope I do, because I've never really had a strong passion for any kind of career, which is super frustrating because so many people, I look at them and even if they can't sort of get to the place they want, or if they're still working towards it, at least they have some sort of goal. And I've never felt any kind of oh, I really want to be a doctor, or I really want to be this or that. I've never felt that way about really anything, which is really frustrating. And finally, when I was working for the Postal Service, I didn't enjoy so much going to work, but the work was fairly rewarding, and I felt like I was accomplishing something, I guess. And it pays, pretty well. The starting pay is almost $16 an hour, and you can't really beat that. So, oh, look how cute you are. So, hopefully I get that back. But in the meantime, I've been getting pretty lonely, sort of waiting for that process to play itself out. And we got Winnie, which has helped a lot. She's been a little blessing. She sleeps with us in our bed. She follows me around everywhere. She's never further than about 10 feet from me. She, follows me up and down the stairs, follows me into the shower, not in the shower, but in the bathroom. And she's been just the best. So, yeah, I mean, that's a little bit about me and my story. I really just wanted to get on here and get more familiar with talking to the camera. And So anyway, I'm not sure what kind of videos that I want to do yet. I'm not sure that I want to really make any videos yet. I just wanted to at least give it a try. I mean, I really, really like, all the videos about makeup and skincare and not so much fashion. I'm not really like a fashion person, but I am interested in skincare and makeup because, as you can see, I need a lot of work or at least help. I mean, I'm pretty okay with the way that I look, but I realize that I need a little help in the makeup department. I mean, I feel like I'm decently okay at doing my makeup. I'm not an expert by any means, though. Like, I sort of know what I'm doing for my own face, but I don't know that I would be good at giving advice for other people. But I don't know. I thought I could do reviews on different things that I like. I mean, I can't really afford much now. I mean, I don't really spend any money on myself at all, but I've got some stuff that I like well enough to use every day. I mean, I probably only wear makeup a couple times a week, especially right now, not working. So anyway, I thought that would be really fun. That's something I've always wanted to try. So the first thing that I maybe wanted to do a review of was the It Cosmetics CC cream. It's like in the pump. I thought that might be kind of fun since that's something I use. So anyway, I guess this is the beginning. So I hope you guys enjoy, and I'm sure you'll be seeing Winnie a lot more because she's always, well, right here. You can see her. She's always right here. So anyways, bye guys.